The following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin.
Welcome back to 50 Shades of Bullshit, where curiosity is hot and pretending you're not curious is hotter. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and today we're talking about play parties. Yeah, those play parties. The ones people whisper about, the ones your open-minded friends say you'd love, but you swear you're asking questions for research purposes. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Walking into a play party isn't about being the hottest person in the room. It's about being the most self-aware person in the room, because nothing is sexier than consent. Nothing is more powerful than boundaries, and nothing will humble you faster than realizing you don't actually know what you're comfortable with until you're standing in it. Play parties aren't chaos. They're choreography. And if you don't know the steps, you're going to step on emotional toes. So today, we're getting into how to prepare mentally, emotionally, physically, your bag before you ever walk through that door. I'm joined today by Victoria Joseph, founder of Birds of a Feather Matchmaking, certified matchmaker, dating strategist, veteran, and passionate E&M educator. We break down mindset, intentions, boundaries, body care, testing, and the ultimate just-in-case bag, so you can show up confident, clear, safe, and ready to connect boldly and play intentionally. Let's get Victoria in here.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Excited to be back.
Yeah.
And to get into this topic.
I think the last time you were on was last year about this time. We were doing around Valentine's Day the fuck it list.
Yeah.
Which was,
did we do a part two bucket list too?
Or we did.
Yeah. Okay. So it's my third time back on here.
our listeners loved it so much that we had to bring you back on.
Yeah. I want to wait till your phone lines were so busy that you didn't get the heads up.
Yeah. How are you? It's been a while.
I'm doing well. Like, staying really busy. Learned a lot last year and just kind of did some new things and started doing my events. So I have some social events for those who are in the non-monogamous community here in the Chicago area.
I heard about those.
Just working on the business, making refinements, just creating an overall great experience and journey for everyone that I have the honor of getting connected with.
I love that. Well, you are always welcome here. I actually think this might be your fourth time here because the first time was with your husband.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, yeah, it's true. So yeah, it has been a few times.
Yeah. You came on and talked about non-monogamy, ethical non-monogamy, and it was a lot of fun. We talked about sex parties then, but we didn't get into the nitty-gritty of it, and that's why I wanted you back today because I think that like I said in my opening, people whisper about it. People, act like it's like, taboo. But, I like to bust that taboo door down, kick it in and say, what the fuck are we doing here? Let's do this and let's do it right. Let's talk about it. There's nothing to be
the cool thing
of.
with this particular topic too, that I kind of thought of is like everything that I'm going to share today, it could even be used for those people who just want to like go out on the town and just like hook up, have fun, be at vanilla or regular parties. Like this stuff is just educational, and it makes everyone like more prepared so that it can be just an enjoyable time for all those involved, especially for individuals who want to get out there and scratch that itch, get cracked, all the have some sexy time. So I definitely am looking forward to like pretty much like play parties one-on-one, or having sex at parties one-on-one, and things that people don't really talk about. Like, one thing that kind of comes to mind is that, when we're in school, we have some people have sex ed and some people don't. And you don't really talk about it much unless you do your own research afterwards. So kind of like even people in adulthood, we're still learning so much about our bodies and what is out there for us, like things that get tested, like people who are sexually active, like they don't know until they know. And that's something that I realized being in these spaces is like, literally, like, for example, so like kind of one of the first things I kind of want to touch on was like how people go about getting tested and STIs and things to kind of like prepare your body to be opening to like other people. So are we down to start talking about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I love that because, quite frankly, I think that society, school, people, parents, just conservatives, anybody, they put shame on sex. And there's no shame in sex. Our bodies were created for sex. And people would probably contradict me and say, no, bodies were created for procreation. But why would we have so many pleasure zones if we were here for just procreating? That's total bullshit.
And what about the people who are infertile? Like, what are they supposed to do? Nothing. Like, they physically can't conceive a baby, so they can live their life like they want to.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. So tell us about that, because I think a lot of people think that, oh my God, if I go get tested, it means that they're going to think I'm just screwing around or whatever. That's so silly.
Yeah, no. So my experience with just kind of being out there, something that I was kind of thinking about earlier is when I was active duty in the military, it was definitely kind of known that people were kind of like having sex and hooking up, but when we had our doctor checkups, like they never did full panel STD testing. Like the only time anyone ever got like anything tested was like if they had symptoms. But then you actually learn that you can be asymptomatic while carrying these things. Yes. So I think that for like starters, people should get regular testing consistently for a few reasons. One, to see if they're asymptomatic, to see if they're carrying something that they are not aware of. Two, especially like in kind of the touch on like how you might feel a little uncomfortable getting testing done like in clinics or at your doctor's. I also kind of face a little bit of an interesting conversation because I walked in there with a wedding ring. Right. And so then I'm like, yeah, I want the full panel testing. I want to get this and this done. And then like there was a time where my administrator was like, oh, that's a really nice ring you have. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then like after the appointment, I was like, wait, I think that was a dig. So, I mean, it is maybe a little bit of a risk that you might get a little questionable looks there or whatever, but you really have to kind of gloss over those kind of things. Like those people have their own judgments, and obviously they're incorrect. So the primary thing should be like doing what's best for you, even if it's like an uncomfortable conversation with your blood drawer, but like, what's it to them? Like you're trying to be safe. And
yeah, absolutely.
I think it's also important for people to get tested regularly too, because I think it could like, and for those who are like monogamous, because what if their partner might be like, what if they have a cheating partner? Like that's how a lot of people get caught, is because they're carrying something. So I think just getting regular, like when you're getting your blood work done for a doctor, like throw in the full panel as well. And so while doing blood work, it's also important to also get your throat swabbed. So that is something that we've learned kind of like being in these spaces, is that if you have chlamydia, for example, it could be negative down here or by your blood, but then it could be positive in your throat. So when it comes to throat swabs, you actually have to request it. And there's actually been times where I've had to educate my doctors that I wanted to get, down there swabbed and I wanted to get my throat swabbed. And the doctor was like, oh, no, you don't need to do both. I'm like, no, I definitely want to do both, and you need to do it. And she's like, hang on a second. Then literally, I think she probably looked it up and for a few minutes or talked to somebody, and then she came back. She's like, you know what? Yeah, let's swab both. And I also want to emphasize getting your throat swabbed too, because there are people here in the lifestyle who've never thought to do that. And they were asymptomatic, and then they had to go through a week of antibiotics and kind of like knock it out. But like, stuff like that happens. And it's just good to like be aware of it, get tested for it, treat it, and then, get retested like 2 weeks later. Because one thing that I learned during this process too is like, if you do happen to contract something contract something, it usually takes up to 2 weeks for the incubation period. So like you can't get tested like 1 or 2 days afterwards because it might be inaccurate. So, I mean, it might be good to do it here and there, like a week after, 2 weeks after, but definitely within 2 weeks if you're feeling a little, you're worried about something.
Yeah.
And I also know that there's anal swabs too. So that's kind of like people think that is not disconnected, but it definitely is all connected. So I think at the very least genitals and the throat, and then you probably will get some answers there. But this also refers to those who are traditional monogamous, just as anybody. Get the throat swab, get a full panel. And then another thing too, that is not on a full panel is for women is to get their BV tested, bacterial vaginosis, and uroplasma. So uroplasma is similar to BV, but it's mostly like asymptomatic, but women carry it. So if you kind of have chronic BV and you don't know why and you keep treating it, BV and uroplasma have different treatment plans. So if you have recurrent BV, get your uroplasma tested, because BV and uroplasma can be transmitted. So while it's not considered a traditional STD, it's definitely very good to get that tested. And then when you get BV, usually you're on medication for like a week or two, but then you also need like an additional week to really get your pH and to get your flow out back to normal before reintroducing things to it. So I also request, and you have to request uroplasma. It's usually a pretty expensive test, but I know some clinics are free and insurance. Like if there's a will, there's a way to get that kind of tested.
Right.
And I actually educated, so I go to the VA for my medical needs, the Veterans Affairs or the hospital, and I requested to get my uroplasma tested, and my doctor never heard of it. So they did some research and they looked into it, realized how common it was. And now because of me, they test uroplasma for all the women in the clinics. So I have personally impacted hundreds of women to get that part of themselves tested. And it's really impactful that, we're just making everyone healthy and aware of different things that they should be getting tested. Yeah.
Sorry. That's like a dad to me who just making a comment, and this is just the greatest episode for a dad figure to be listening to with me.
Yeah. Also, a thing to add too, before kind of going out there and playing with people, is that it's definitely recommended to make sure you're up to date on your HPV vaccines as well. Because you can get HPV from hugging someone, like just skin on skin, shaking hands, like very easily can be received. I mean, like I think 80 or 90% of people have at some point had HPV, and then it gets out of your system after a year or so. So if you're not sure you went through all your HPV series, definitely get that checked on. I even think, if I remember someone saying correctly, there was like a new vaccine that came out like 5 or 10 years ago. So sort of fairly recently. And then this way you can reduce the chances of getting cancer from it. Because I definitely have known people in the lifestyle who maybe didn't get all their vaccines, or they didn't know about it. And then they did have to get surgery done to like remove, I think like the warts on their like cervix. I'm not exactly sure cervix. Like where that shows up.
Cervix,
their cervix, but they had to get some stuff removed. So definitely just being prepared and setting up your body for success to help avoid all these little mishaps is kind of what I want to talk about, because it refers to everybody, and especially those in the lifestyle, to be like extra safe, since we're sharing ourselves with so many people. So what are your thoughts on all that I shared?
Yeah, I like it because though there, like you said, there's a lack of real strong sex education in school. They're not going through all this information. They're not saying that, you know, you need to protect yourself, but once you've protected yourself, you still, you know, there's not 100% protection anywhere. And, you know, you have to take care of your body. And if you're ignoring it and thinking, oh, I just don't want to go to the doctor because, you know, look what they do to women. They put us in these, you know, archaic, you know, these feet things, and they probe us with these long, stretchy, cold fucking things that are horrible. And, you know, it's about your health. And, you know, you can be in a monogamous relationship, like you said, and still have carried something from a previous relationship, or maybe a partner is stepping out that you don't know, you know, and, you know, like yourself and many others who are in, you know, ethical non-monogamy type. It's hard for me to say that fast.
It's a
Say
mouthful.
that
E&M.
E&M. Yeah, so that's important. So what do you think actually is the biggest mistake that people make before their first play party?
Oh, I think going into a play party without like educating, or I guess there's so many things. I think people go into play parties sometimes and they overwhelm themselves. So I think just learning about learning from other people's experiences is like the best way to kind of start off something. So I think going in there not knowing terminology, not knowing what certain things mean, not knowing what different dynamics are, like, because people will have different conversations, and it definitely does not hurt to learn on the go. But yeah, I think just being unprepared is probably like their biggest mistake. And one thing that I like to advise people who are brand new and want to go to the lifestyle play parties is, for your very first party, just go there with the intention to just meet people and talk without playing with other people. Because that way, especially, I think maybe if you're single, it could be a little bit different because you're taking care of your own self. But definitely as like a couple, when you're brand new and you're just starting out, it can be very overwhelming. You don't know what to expect. You can come up with all these scenarios of what could happen, what may be, what you're okay with, what you're not, and you will still be surprised. You'll be in situations, conversations, whatever, that like you didn't talk about ahead of time. So coming to parties with the mentality like mistakes might be made, and to have grace, but to make sure you're having conversations about it afterwards, and then moving forward positively with those conversations. Like when people go in there, we're not trying to hurt each other, right? We're not trying to hurt feelings. We're trying to avoid mistakes, but they're going to happen. So it's important that you go in there with good communication. So I would say a big mistake is people go into these parties thinking that they're going to fix their relationship, that they think a threesome is really going to spice it up for them. You have to take care of your relationship in-house before you go to a party. People are going to be able to tell if things kind of are rocky, if someone's not excited to be there, if someone's like way more enthusiastic than the other couple. So, the other partner. So I think going in unprepared is a mistake that people make the most. And that's kind of why I want to talk about today, like how to be prepared and what to bring. And that way I can kind of expedite like the process for people that don't know what to bring to a party. And then you kind of refine it as you go. Some people bring a lot, some people bring very little. But yeah, I'd say those mistakes are pretty common, just unintentionally overwhelming yourself. And then also, I think not sticking to the boundaries that you might have set for yourself ahead of time. For example, like as we were talking about STI testing, like people who are new are like, well, I want to have results, but I also want to see other people's results. So if that is something that's really important to you, there will be people who will have testing available to show you, or like let you know when they had them, or they won't. And so then you have to honor like if that's important to you, or if you do kind of just want to put trust in these people, which I think they're like statistics show that people who are in the lifestyle actually are safer, because we talk about sex so often, more than you might go out into the wild. If you hitting up somebody like at the club or at a bar. So it's definitely a more talked about conversation. Like, how often are people just talking about STIs and STDs and their status and stuff like that when you're hanging out with your neighbors, right? Never.
Right.
So
or going to the bar, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to sit down next to a hot guy and go, so when was your last STI test? It's not, may not always feel so sexy. I think my first party, I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know a thing about it. I was dating somebody who said, hey, you want to go to this party with me and check it out? And I was like, yeah, I'll go. And I went, and I will say that I kind of hid behind him all night, just kind of looked over the shoulder, just leaned on him. And whenever I felt uncomfortable, I would just kind of hide behind him. And that made me feel, like I was
overstimulated.
I was overwhelmed. But one thing that I think that I really learned is that everybody there is just normal people. We're not a bunch of crazy sex people, but maybe not, but we're just normal everyday people. And the social aspect of it was incredible. Just going in, sitting down, everybody's like in this social area, like a living room, and the couches
unplugged, no phones. Everyone's there to talk and meet.
Yeah, and everybody's chilling, having conversations, just having a social time. And I found it very fascinating and very, really interesting, that I actually have friends from there that are just still friends.
Yeah, you make best friends in these communities or these events if you exchange contact and stay in touch. It's wonderful. So I guess the question for you is what mistakes did you feel like you made that you would advise someone else who's interested?
I just didn't really know anything about it. Nothing. I knew nothing. He just said, hey, it's a sex party and we're all going to go and you want to go. And I was like, oh, hell yes. I want to see this. So, I'm all about experiencing things and checking things out, because I don't want to say I know anything about something without educating myself and, not really educating myself. But I'm going to be honest, I didn't know where to educate myself from. That's one of the reasons why I even started this podcast, and to have these type of topics of conversation, because there is nothing wrong with them. And, the choices people make in their everyday life and in their partnerships, that's completely up to them. And as long as you're being safe for yourself and your partner, I think it's a beautiful thing. And I just had no idea. And I'm really glad I experienced that, because then I think about a year later, I wound up dating somebody who was in the lifestyle. And we had a really incredible relationship because of that. And it was something that we did together, not like every time, but quite often. And it was fun, and it was a beautiful relationship. And it really opened my mind to just being open-minded,
Yeah, I definitely being in the lifestyle has definitely opened up. I thought I was open-minded, but then things that used to kind of maybe I guess weird me out, or I didn't think was that great. I got used to that, being around those certain things. I'm like, that's not as weird. That's I don't know why maybe my own kind of judgments, they do fade away once you realize that was kind of a silly stigma that I had with myself about other people and what they're into. And then now I'm just hell yeah, that sounds hot. That, I want to see that. I want to do that myself now. And so there's definitely some interesting situations that initially you're like, oh, that's weird. And then you go ahead and you try it out and you're like, okay, it's not as weird as I thought. But I was kind of reflecting on my early party attending mistakes. And one that, I don't know, maybe it happened for you at some point, but I would say don't get too fucked up. Don't get too drunk. Because there was definitely a time where I was, when you're a little nervous and you just want to party and you want to be so free and liberated, but then your judgment kind of clouds, and you might feel even though maybe what went down was consensual, you still kind of have some regret the day after, because you're oh, thinking back on it, that shouldn't have really happened, even though I was asking for it, So I think just making sure that you don't drink too much, you don't get sloppy, especially when sometimes people do too much drugs. That can be really that can be a bad, or not a good situation to be like really messed up like that, because then your judgment's clouded. You might not be able to like listen or hear people's like consent and their boundaries, and you might be trying to wing it, and then you might violate somebody unintentionally. So definitely just don't get too messed up. Like just enough to kind of get buzzed, just nothing, you want to be able to give and receive consent. You don't want to get too messed up to like where you can't do that anymore. So
I'm not much of a drinker anyway. And when it comes to things like that, I like to have a very clear head. I like to know that there was no doubt on whether I wanted to do something or not. So I think that was good. I think that, with a couple of partners I've been with, that they've wanted me to be like high or whatever, but it's like, no, I'm just, I want to have a clear head. I want to also enjoy it. I want to experience it, How do you think you will actually know if you're ready to do this kind of play party, or if maybe you're just kind of like fascinated by it or horny, about it? You know what I mean?
I think if you're just like simply, if you're excited about the idea of it, I think you're kind of ready. Like you shouldn't go into a situation feeling scared, feeling worried, feeling anxious, feeling unsure. Like once your feelings for said party turns to more excitement and more curiosity, then I think that's when it's kind of a good time to give it a try. Like, or if you are inexperienced, I think it's kind of a good place to it's a good time to go, because a lot of it kind of blows my mind to think about like how most women have only had maybe like 8 partners, 12 partners in their lifetime. And just knowing that they didn't have so many experiences that like really know themselves, or like what makes them tick, or like a lot of women have never had an orgasm before. Like maybe going to play part, like if you want to be sexually liberated, if you want to figure out your kinks, if you want to figure out yourself more, play parties will help. Everyone is very happy to fulfill desires, to fulfill fantasies. Like everyone loves helping new people figure themselves out, or like a lot of people have never squirted before, and there's usually a helping hand to make that a reality. So if you have never had these sexual experiences before, it would be, and you want to figure it out, and you want to talk to other women who have had this, or figuring out if what you're going through is normal or not. Like I recently made a new friend who has gone through a divorce, and she thought she hated like sex. Like she was so dry in her marriage, but then it turned out her and her husband were not sexually compatible. And so when they divorced and she kind of went on this journey herself, she was like, oh wow, I can get wet. Oh, I can feel aroused. I can feel like these horny feelings. So if you don't have that oomph kind of going on in your life, going to play parties will amplify it. Like it's just so hot to see people like enjoying themselves, being pleasured, and being in these spaces. Like it's something in you is gonna ignite. And surprisingly, that some people might not know is that if you're partnered, it's gonna actually just bring you guys closer. Like some people might worry that like, oh, if you have a threesome, is she going to be better than me? Like you will be pleasantly surprised that like just because you had shared this really hot experience is just going to bring you guys closer, which I think some people can't probably comprehend, but that's definitely the case.
I will say that if in a partnership, say, let's just talk about this scenario for a second. Say the guy wants to have like a threesome with his girl, and she's not really into it, but she's giving it to him because she wants to keep him. And they go to these kind of play parties, and it makes her jealous or insecure. You're not ready, and you're not. It'll ruin a relationship.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yes, if you're going in there like feeling like unhappy about this whole situation, you're feeling jealous, and you're feeling worse about everything, probably not a good place to be there.
Agreed.
I do understand like when you're new, some people want to just like ease into it, and maybe they'll just have like threesomes with women. But I really think people should graduate from that particular level.
Yeah.
And there should be equal opportunities on both sides to explore. I really don't like it when people have one penis policies, meaning that the men can have an abundance of women and the woman can only play with other women, but they can't, like, she can't play with another penis if she wants to. Like, I met someone who has no interest in other people's penises, and I'm like, okay, well, that's definitely a different scenario versus like you wanting to and feeling like unfair, or maybe you're starting to feel resentment. So I think destigmatizing that, like, just because women have been with more men makes them lesser is outdated.
I agree.
Super outdated. It's very hot to have experiences with your partner and letting them do what they feel like doing. And if you are repressing them from making connections with men because of your own insecurities, definitely time. I don't think that's great.
Well, it goes back to what you were saying before, is you have to be really secure within your relationship. You have to be having these conversations, not only with yourself before you go, but really with your partner. And this should be something you've really talked about and really worked through long before you pick a party or go to a sex club. Like in LA, there's a lot of sex clubs where you go and it's a big dance party and there's playrooms, and you don't even have to have other partners. You can always explore with that, and the atmosphere is sexy and the rooms are open or closed, and you can watch or not watch or be watched, and really just start to dip your toe in. And those kind of things, I think, kind of lead to it before you head straight smack into a massive sex party and then going, holy shit, I wasn't prepared for this because I don't know what my boundaries are. Or I don't know what my partner's boundaries are, or with each other.
Yeah. Communication needs to be strong and your needs need to be met before opening up.
Yes.
If you feel like, if you're going to have sex with all these women, but you don't have time to have sex with me, like we're going to have some problems. So
that is a problem.
There's so much help out there. There's so many resources out there to make couples bond better, to make them work through whatever intimacy issues they might be having those open conversations, building trust again. Like there's just so much out there, and it's just important. Like if you have a partner who has expressed like, hey, we should go to couples therapy, prioritize it. Like they obviously feel like something is lacking. Just give it a try, give it a go, find a therapist, find a coach that you like, and then just continue to do it regularly. And a lot of people do it pretty regularly, even when things are good, just to have like kind of like a maintenance check. And so if you feel like you have it, there's nothing wrong with that. So people in the lifestyle have couples therapists, people have sex therapists. Like there's so much therapy, counseling, coaching out there. There's really and you don't even have to tell other people that you're doing it. That can definitely be like private to you, and you're just doing it what's best for you. And you can get coaches from out of state. Like it can really be a private matter. You don't have to share with other people if you feel like kind of embarrassed, but like just know that you're working on it in house before you get out there.
Absolutely. I'd love to talk to you about body care.
Yeah.
And then I'd love to go into like what's some kind of bags that we can, what's in some bags.
Okay. So at this point, right, we've gotten all our testing done. We've gotten our vaccines done. We're aware of like what is transmittable, and what maybe not be. So like now we're aware, we're informed, which is the best place to be. Yeah. And now everything in-house is good. We're feeling really excited about the club. And now we're getting ready for the club, the event, whatever it might be. So some things to get ready is I always recommend taking an everything shower. So the funny thing too about being in the lifestyle is that you will always you will continue to maintain yourself because you're trying to impress new people. You're trying to put you don't get lazy. You keep yourself in good shape. You get your hair done, you shave, or you get waxed, or you get laser, or some people do rep whatever feels comfortable to them. There are definitely people out there who have long hair, short hair, but if it feels authentic to you, that's what matters. And like if you do like to have like armpit hair or something like that, then people who are drawn to that they won't mind, or they'll be drawn to you. So if you want that look, then go ahead and do it. But for, I guess, like the basic girly, like someone maybe who looks similar to me, what I do is I definitely shampoo, conditioner, and I make my hair really healthy. And I also add in things that make my hair smell good, because, you know, this hair is gonna be whipping back and forth, and I want someone to catch the breeze and make
my
it smell
hair back and
good.
forth.
Then men
Yeah.
also get haircuts. They should, like, so men should get haircuts. They should trim their beard. They should also clean up. And for men who think, oh, my looks don't matter, you're very wrong.
Yeah.
We hear that a lot in the lifestyle, like it's all about the girls and the girls doing this. Like, no, we care about looks. We want you to also put in effort. And we want you to, yeah. So if you, you got some like long, back hair, like have your partner trim it up, or if you got some ear hairs, nose hairs, like clean shave, like try to look like you have put yourself together, like dress up and get ready like you're going on a first date where sex is going to happen. So exfoliating your body with exfoliants I like to do, and then body wash and shave, trim. So men should trim their nails, women should get their nails done, or short or long.
I think it is important that you just said that men should get their nails trimmed, because if you're playing with other people, especially with your hands, women's bodies are very sensitive.
Very sensitive.
I don't think they realize that. And that I think that's an important aspect. Absolutely.
Yeah. So definitely clean nails, and then also clean teeth. So make sure you're flossing and you have mouthwash and you're brushing your teeth. And then also at parties, like, bring mints, actually, we'll get into the packing bag here soon. But as far as getting the body ready, just like dress your body to impress, like smell good. So I always recommend like perfumes, colognes, making sure your breath smells good. You want, one thing that I like to do is using body lotion and body oils, so that we feel like so soft and smooth, because once you're sexy. Like rubbing skin, like, I don't know, something about it, you're just like, you're feeling confident. So making sure you're making yourself prim and proper, you boost your own confidence, and then you feel ready to really start hitting on or flirting up people, knowing that you took care of everything that you need. And then sometimes when you're like in the lifestyle and maybe you have like 2 parties back to back, sometimes there's like hacks for women to like either wear like fishnets or stockings, like if they don't want to shave like their legs twice. So eventually you kind of learn little hacks like that. But so lotion up. You don't want to be dry. You want to smell good, and you want to be really clean. Yeah. So that's kind of how I prepare the body. And then oftentimes going to the club, there is sometimes a dress code. Sometimes there's a theme. I always recommend dressing for the theme. Yes. Even if it's minimal, don't go, so at the very bare minimum, just come dressed up. Like if the theme is like St. Patrick's Day or something like that, right? And it's green, and you don't have any St. Patrick's Day things, well, then just come dressed nice. Wear your button up, wear the color green, show some effort that you read that there is a dress code and there's a theme and you came prepared. I will tell you though, a lot of people hate a theme. I love a theme.
I love a theme.
Yeah, and people kind of know what to wear. And the more, I guess some people who are into fashion love it too, and they can get really expressive and creative. And let me tell you, it is very, very special and very nice to be in a room full of people who coordinated and dress in theme. Like it just adds a really good vibe to the party.
It does. It's fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's not cheesy.
No.
So I definitely recommend either dressing up or dressing for the theme. And once you get more experience, like my fashion sense has definitely gotten better since being in the lifestyle, like casually or at parties. Like I try to because I start to appreciate little details. Like, oh, she coordinated to be like all gold jewelry, or she had like certain shapes and she made it transfer here and there. She does it with her hair, earrings, shoes, glasses. Like there are just so many cutesy little things that really just
makes a difference.
Makes you just very appealing.
Besides, something that makes you feel sassy or sexy or dominant or feminine or whatever your role is in your head or with your partner or whatever.
Exactly.
That is hot as fuck.
Yeah, there's harness. There's an aesthetic for everybody. There's harnesses. There's black goth. There's girly. There's so much variety.
Well, I have a choker that's a chain, and my partner used
Yeah,
to
those are
love to
hot.
have it, and he would pass it off to other people, and it was fun. And then I will say that I took a lot of pride in whenever I go to a party in being as hot as I can, just like feeling hot for myself, because there was always a sense of pride in my partner when I would go with him, because other
Hell yeah.
people would
Like
want
showing
me
off.
and be attracted, and he loved that. He loved other people wanting me and
Yes, it's hot.
desiring me.
It's hot.
Hmm.
It's really nice to see
It's
your
very
partner
hot.
being desired by other people. They're like, yep, still got
Yeah, like
it.
she's mine, and he liked being the one that made the decisions and in control, and I loved it. It made me feel very feminine, very sexy, very desired, and I'll tell you what, it spices your life up, like
Mm-hmm.
up.
Yeah,
Um,
would definitely recommend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Let's
So
talk about the bag,
yeah.
the
So
fun
now
stuff.
our bodies are ready, our outfits ready, and now we're packing the bag for this play party. So for those who are taking notes, take some notes. All right. So I have in my bag actually, like I have a list on my phone that I like to refer to, like a checklist. So let me make sure I'm not missing some
I
details.
love it.
Okay. So on here, I definitely have condoms, I have lube, and then toys. So if you like vibrations or there's like a particular toy that you want to use either on yourself or on someone else, bring it. Gum, ponytails, or like a hair clip. Tums, because sometimes you go to the party and you don't want to have a tummy ache. So having some travel size Tums with you is always good. And pain reliever, because sometimes you might get like a headache. Maybe you're like a little dehydrated. So definitely drink lots of water too before parties. That is also a hot tip. So that you're feeling hydrated there. Just drinking water. So yeah, have Tums, pain reliever, chapstick. So because there's gonna be like a lot of heavy breathing, your lips might get a little dry. You might be kissing some people, so you want to kind of keep your lips soft. Another little tip that I like to do sometimes is exfoliate my lips before parties. Really make them real soft, make them real pillowy. And chapstick, and then sometimes like lip gloss. Lipstick can be fun. So one thing that you will learn if you start to go to parties regularly, that you'll learn that less is more. So at these particular parties, people really prioritize like skincare more than like a full beaded face. Because makeup gets everywhere, you get sweaty, it gets on people's clothes, it gets on people's sheets, it gets on the pillows, it gets kind of messy. So definitely keep makeup like kind of minimal. Like, definitely get your eyes done, some blush or like whatever, some creams here and there. But like as far as like a full beat, like a heavy, usually it doesn't translate very well at parties.
I agree.
But in that case, if you want like little touch-ups here and there, like for example, if I have like a pimple, I have like makeup that has like it fights acne at the same time, then I might just cover that up so it's not a big old red spot. One thing too that I like to give tips on is bringing what I call like finger condoms. So they're used, I think they're like medical grade. They come in different colors. There's a lot of white ones, but I personally like the black ones. I think they look kind of like edgier. And finger condoms are great because if you have nails, if you want like a different sensation, or you want it to be kind of like a better experience and not like get like stuff caught up in there, these finger condoms really help out. Especially, it kind of just like dulls out your nail and or something else might be going on. So I recommend like a little baggie of finger condoms to use for if you feel like using them. And then I mentioned water, and then definitely bring an outfit change, bring lingerie. So oftentimes when you go to play parties, you usually arrive in an outfit. And then when you're really like when you're ready to play and you're feeling playful, outfit change. I usually recommend like having outfit changes on or before like midnight. But sometimes when parties are really hot and heavy, it will happen after maybe if there is like a consent talk or there's like that icebreaker thing. People like when they're ready, they'll change. So definitely bring lingerie. And then for after the party, a little hack that has been pleasant is like bringing a pair of comfy clothes. Like after you gotten out of lingerie, or like maybe you're wearing chains or you're wearing leather and you just want something kind of like cozy, wear something cozy for the car ride back. A hot tip too is wearing house slippers. So at house parties or at clubs, like if you're wearing like high heels at first, switch into slippers when your feet are starting to hurt, and that way your feet stay clean, because like if they get up in the air later. So every time I wear slippers, people are always like, oh, that's such a good idea. And then also to pair with comfy clothes, bring like a cute robe. So like maybe after you got naked and maybe you're like kind of done for the night but not like ready to go home, bringing like a light robe, like a satin robe or like a silk robe. I also get like a lot of compliments on that. And then other people kind of bring sorry, what?
Yeah, no, I was gonna elaborate on that. You know, there's plenty of times in between that you just want to go to the restroom.
Yeah.
And you have to go through multiple rooms, and you don't want to have to get redressed in all kinds of shit that you've already shed or shredded, shedded or shredded. And having a robe to go to the bathroom is always
absolutely
great.
And then sometimes people bring like snacks. Some people like to have like some candy afterwards, just to kind of like a little sweet treat, you know, and then hit the road. And then I don't pack this in my bag at parties, but one hot tip is, so when you do start to go to lifestyle events, your flora, your pH is going to go out of whack because of all the new bodies, the fingers, the lubes, the condoms. And some people have very monogamous vaginas, but there is a little like hack where you use boric acid afterwards, after parties. So it's a pill that you put in your vagina. I know some people have swallowed it. You don't swallow it.
Nope.
You put it inside you before you go to bed, and then the next day either it will dissolve or it will kind of like, you might feel like a little leaky afterwards. So either wear like underwear or like wear like a little pad. But it pretty much makes a more acidic pussy is a happy pussy, and that's kind of what it does. It's like rebalancing your pH.
Yeah.
And I'm also kind of learning that a little tip that I also received was someone uses boric acid the day before parties. So then they're using boric acid the day before, the evening of, and then maybe even a day after, just to like kind of have like a extra layer of happiness in your vagina.
And for those who don't know what it is, there is a brand very easily gotten, or I don't even know if it's a brand, but it's called PhD. It's a white and green bottle. You get it at like your local pharmacy or CVS. It's over the counter, and it is a little pill haplet that you insert into your vagina, not your mouth. So yes,
nice. I also like this brand called Love Wellness, and also another thing to prepare for parties: start taking probiotic vitamins. So, or take vitamins in general. Your multivitamin, your vitamin D, and probiotics to also help with your pH and flora down there. And Love Wellness is known for specifically having probiotics that emphasize the good bacteria down there. Like it's intentionally like in your system in that kind of way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I carry in my bags. Other people sometimes also bring like towels. Like a hand towel is actually a good idea. And sometimes I bring hand towels. I probably should add on here.
Add that to your list.
It's kind of nice to just kind of use it to like refresh every once in a while. And then if you are a squirter, bring a towel or get your own little squirt blanket. So definitely bring that as well. So that's how you are the most prepared, if you have all these things. Do you feel like I missed anything?
No, actually, I was trying to think of what you could have, and I really don't think you have. I think you're pretty spot on. I have a little kind of, we're like at less than almost a minute and a half left. I have a little closing thing, and I want you to add to it if you feel I've missed something. If someone is going to walk into a space where desire is amplified, they better know where their boundaries live. Because the only thing worse than feeling rejected is realizing you never defined your yes. And if you're going to play, know the rules, own your desires, and pack your confidence. Because the only thing sexier than what you're wearing to a party is walking in like you belong there.
Absolutely. People love confidence. People love banter. People love funny. People love flirting. And sometimes people are very nervous at first, and eventually they kind of you you grow into confidence. You get better over time. Especially to kind of like touch on that is like once you start seeing people living their best life, you start to be like, why don't I do that? Like you become so less self-conscious because you see these people all shapes and sizes, like just having a ball and not thinking about themselves, not thinking about their bodies. And then you're like, you know what? I want to be like that too. And then that's just how you are. You just confidence. And it helps. It boosts it helps everything.
It really does. And I love that you said all shapes and sizes because I've never seen more all shapes and sizes than at a play party. I absolutely love it.
It's pretty much the whole population at one event, and you're gonna have a little bit of everyone there. So it's for everybody.
Exactly. Well, whatever you do, don't show up apologizing for your desire. That's the real bullshit when you do that. So thank you, Tori, for coming today. I really appreciate you. My other guest canceled last minute, and you are my hero for popping in and doing this with me today. I love you so much. I love it. Thank you, everyone, for coming again today. I love having you. We're going to be here again, same time, same place next week. And until then, let's just keep this shit real.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.